My name is Lawal Abdulateef. I'm a solution architect with BGP. I'm part of the engineering team. My journey into the solution architect role, it's not really that straightforward, but um, thank God for the opportunity to serve and to contribute immensely to the development, architectural decisions, and infrastructural level decisions within the team. I joined VGP as a senior software engineer. I think it was level 3. Uh, I was part of a product, not sure, a product called of it. Then I joined another product, 12, and from there I've been part of different products, different projects, different decision making, and basically, different projects across the team. And as our engineering lead, like to refer to us as product delivery team, because at some point you have to be part of every aspect of the development of the project. You are not just sitting down waiting for requirement to be gathered and delivered to your table. You are also part, in a way, part of that requirement gathering, understanding the flow end to end, working with different stakeholders. See, I would say my journey to the role wasn't that straightforward, having to, prove myself continuously, and then taking feedback continuously, then improving on those feedbacks continuously. So I think that's one major driver for that, for the current position and promotion, and also the continuous culture of trying to deliver value in the entire ecosystem, not just focusing on the product that you're building, at least contributing in the entire ecosystem. Yeah, I would say that's more like my journey into the current role. My typical day on the product is more like normal typical day for any engineer. After my morning routine, which involve my exercise and light, prayer and everything, my morning routine, coming to my office. I work remotely. My stand up is for 10:30, but sometimes I have to join other product stand up, but not really often. It depends on the time for those stand up. It could be 9, 10, but typically my product 12 stand up is 10:30. Give feedback on tasks that were done or accomplished or achieved a day before. Feedbacks on blocker, feedbacks on action to take next for the day. Then once that ends, communicate blockers, engage any stakeholders that I need to engage any colleagues that I need to engage to get something done. Also engage colleagues based on, we need to work on together, then pick up a new ticket from the task if I need to, or if not, if I still have an ongoing ticket, just continue my work on that ticket, join different meetings where necessary, then continue my work. Typically, the close hour is 5, yeah, but remote. So sometimes I close when I know I'm satisfied for the day, kind of like I'm done. Like I know that yes, I've achieved everything that I need to achieve for the day. So typically, I'll say that's my close my close hour. But it doesn't have to be very late in the midnight. But most of the time, I try to close as early as possible to maintain that work-life balance. And VGP is an environment that encourages that a lot. But there are some times where you have to go extra mile, do extra hour. That's fine. But most of the time, typically, um, I try to close out anything I'm doing and prepare for the next day. That's basically my typical day working on the product, meetings, writing code, which is a major thing, then attending to um, tasks or issues where necessary. To be honest, I'm actually proud of every part of the product. You know, it's like a whole team. Let me try to give an analogy like a football pitch, a whole team. You have the striker, the defender, the midfielder, the left wing, the right wing. Everybody work. The whole component of the product works together to give that value. So I'm I'm kind of proud of the whole product, the whole module, the whole aspect of the product. Um, I can't really say for sure which part of the product I'm I'm most proud of. I I'm trying to think around it. No, because from a mindset point of view, it also give me the opportunity to be vulnerable in the sense that I don't hold any model to. I'm not too passionate about any model to the point that you know it makes adjustment or changes very difficult to that model. So I respect every model. I like every model, even the part I did not work on, the part that my other colleagues worked on, because everything works together to deliver that value to that customer. So I can't really say I'm most proud of a part of it. Um, I'm genuinely proud of every module of that product. Every so far, it delivers the end goal, and the ultimate beneficiary gets that value on time. So that is the joy. And I think the part that I'm most proud of is when you get feedbacks from the um, customer unit, dropping feedbacks after their periodic review with client, dropping feedbacks that yeah, they're having, they are moving from 80% success rate to 90% success rate. That's the moment of, that's that point that I'm always happy, and I'm always passionate to listen to that part of the story. Oh, we are moving from this success rate to this success rate. We are moving from this failure rate down to this failure rate. Yeah, that moment, it's that point that gives me that pride. So we are making progress. Generally, I'm happy with the whole model. Yeah, I'll say for Sweat, the 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 beauty of the product goes beyond your technical know-how. Though your technical know-how is very important, your skills is very important, how you're able to build a very robust payment gateway is very important. But sometimes it's an ecosystem that has dependency, and it sometimes it could be quite frustrating that even though when you put all the man hour, you put all the whole effort, the part that is failing is the part that is beyond you. Is you don't have any capacity to do anything. But another thing is that you have failover, you have alternative, that's fine. But before you have alternative, and meaning you can switch when a particular vendor is failing, you switch another vendor, you switch another vendor. That's okay. But you know, the challenging part sometimes is getting the right partner and getting the right vendor that have the same passion as you have and can can deliver what they've promised. You're engaging a partner who you want to do XYZ into this corridor, and they say, "Oh, we can do it." After the whole integration, building, you know, doing a lot of work, then you realize that the corridor that they promise to have, they don't really have it. And you've already told your client or your customer that would very soon you start paying to this corridor. So I think for me, the most challenging part is getting the right partner, building the right tool, and engaging your customer the right way. Okay, so for instance, the payment has left your system, and you are waiting for the ultimate beneficiary to get value from your vendor. Even though you switch to another partner at that point, it's not really sufficient anymore because you can't do double payment into one ultimate beneficiary's account. Now the money is pending into, let me say, bank A or partner A system. Now, because what you are building is a platform that you promise that any beneficiary will get their money in so period based on SLA. So imagine that third party vendor had to delay that amount for like double of your SLA time, and your customer are not happy. The beneficiary is also calling to get the money for maybe for any emergency. So you see, so that part is quite challenging, but as we grow, we are also trying to build a very resilient and a robust system to see how we can manage those those kind of situation. So I'll say, getting the right partner, in summary, getting the right partner, building a very robust and resilient system, and having a proper, communication channel or procedure with your customers. So the moment solving a tough problem, another thing I would love to say here is that sometimes some problems are solved in a way that might not be the most sophisticated, I'll use the word sophisticated way. Some major problem sometimes are not solved in the most automated way. You move from that manual to the automation of that process of solving the problem. So I remember that we had an issue with a vendor that had claimed to process over 1,000 transactions, which also gave us a callback or a feedback that says that those transactions are not successful, meaning that by default the ultimate beneficiary should have gotten the value right into their respective Nigerian bank accounts. But unfortunately, the next day we got a lot of reports from our own customer that also customers are not getting value, up to like 1,000 of them. Okay, so what do we do? So we had to look for a way to repay those beneficiaries so that they can get value. The whole thing that was done around that process, which there's now like a proper automated process to it now. And also another one was a wrong failure response from another vendor. I think they made a mistake within their system and they gave a wrong failure response. You know, our monitoring system was able to monitor that rate of failure that is unusual for that particular partner. So we reach out to them and they realize that wow, it was a failure response. You know, the whole thing that we're able to do around those two scenarios, you know, I'll say was one of like um tough problem or say tough problems that I had to work on with my teammates to get resolved. There were lots of things that went into automating that process. You know, there's a lot of validations, a lot of process needs to be needs to be completed for those. This is because this is not a typical reversal problem. It's not really a typical reversal problem. It could have been that straightforward, but this is massive failure um, from the third party. So if we try to reverse, there's high tendency that we reverse into our customer account and they have a way of paying back that beneficiary. There's a tendency that that vendor or that bank must have even paid out that money to that beneficiary. So we needed to strike a balance to ensure that there is no double payment. At the same time, there are no exposures. Yeah, there are no exposures. So that that moment of building things around that process, I would say was a major one. That I had to pull out with my team members. Aside that, just mm, um, yeah. Aside that, what else? I was at the top of my head right now. I'll say yeah, that's one moment that we were able to navigate, and I'm really proud of the results, and I'm really proud of how that has helped to avoid exposures and also to manage our customer growth. What's the thing that you don't know about my work? I don't think they should care really. I mean, so if I'm buying a calculator from you, I've paid for that service. I just want the calculator to work. You know, if I'm bringing my relative into a medical center, they're going through a procedure. I just want a positive result. You know, if I'm bringing my wife into your labor room, I just want to see my wife and my babies. I don't. Most of the time, we don't really care what they went through. So the same thing goes to um, into building a product. You don't have to go into that psychological, part to want to really care about. You really want your user to care about the struggle that you are going through. I mean, it's not really a factor I've ever considered. So the most important thing for me when I'm interacting with our customer is to say that okay, what's your success rate now? What's your failure rate now? I want to see some growth in success rate, and I want to see some decline or reduction in failure rate. Then I want to hear things like okay, their interaction with our system is seamless and they're able to work. You know, that's the most important thing for me. I don't think I've ever thought of what they think about what you are doing. But sometimes when you are in a mess, you are struggling to satisfy a particular customer, debugging that issue. That thought will come that hey, bro, I'm investigating your issue. Professionally, I don't need to go into details of what I've done so far. I don't need to show them my workings. I just have to show them the results. So who I think needs to be concerned about what I'm doing or what I've done or the process or stress, I think it should be probably my management team internally or my my leads, it's okay, oh, you've tried. But to my customers, they don't need to know what I'm going through. You know, I just need to give them results, and that's it. Basically, that's business. That is business. There's nothing emotional about it. So when you give them the results, then they appreciate you. So in that appreciation, see it as they have also appreciated the process or the struggle that you went through. You know, when you going to when your wife going to labor, or someone, your relative, going to a surgery and everything is successful, that thank you to that doctor or that medical practitioner, you know, go beyond just thank you. It goes into you appreciating the process and the struggle that they've went through. So left to me, yeah, I don't think they should be bothered. The most important thing is, did they get the result? Yeah, did they send a thank you note? Or even if they don't send a thank you note, I want to ensure that they come back to come and do business. And so to some customers, they coming back to come and do business with you is their own thank you, and just have to take it for what it is. I'm not really so concerned, about they are needing to know anything about what I do internally to satisfy them. You know, so my earlier introduction, I said my lead will say that we are a product delivery team or product delivery guys. We are not just engineers. So, and that's something that really stick with me a lot. So meaning that you work across board and you have to engage all necessary stakeholders. So collaborating with my team it's not a special thing, it's a norm, like it's a culture within the VGP space. Like you don't work in silos. You- So sometimes I walk around, I work with compliance team, the legal team, having meetings with the legal team, compliance team, the product manager guys, the product specialists, the business analysts, um, engineers, of course. That is a compulsory thing. Then even with the operations team, you know, comprised of the customer support, operations, transaction monitoring. I work with every one of them, and the good thing is that for every product there's a generic group chat that every representative from different departments on that product is. So there's a Swerve channel where every member from different team that support that product, somebody must be there. In that group, there's software engineer that support the product. In that group, there's marketing. In that group, there is sales. In that group, there is customer support. There's operation, transaction monitoring. In that group, that group contains, so that if a salesperson, after selling the product to a new customer, you know, have complained to say that I have a new customer XYZ, but the person has been trying to even integrate or even check our documentation, but is giving error. From there, whoever is in charge knows that, oh, I need to check this. So there is like a proper team that comprise of every member from different team on that product. So I mean, collaborating with a team is like a day-to-day thing, is a culture. There's no special moment for it. And we work remotely though, but I mean, the relationship within the team to give me access, like a seamless access, yeah, to any members of the team, or any members of any group that I need to reach out to get anything done based on that product. So it's a straightforward collaboration process, and I would say the unique thing about the team is, there's unity, there's that sense of purpose, from everybody. So it is a quite straightforward process. Nothing special. Every day there's a team. In fact, in that same team, there's finance, there's reconciliation. So everybody's just there So when one problems drop, everybody's aware of that problem, and the department who's supposed to attend to that problem immediately picks it up. So if you need assistance from another place, just tag the person that you need assistance from. Straightforward. No emails. Emails is too far. So just drag everybody into a call or carry, or drop your message in that channel, and it's everybody just like a call away to solving a problem for you. Yeah. Okay, so I'll say the most rewarding part. I mean, it's the money, of course. So it's the money, it's the profit. Business must grow, and I'll say is the cost of still sustaining the business. Um, when you are building something, so we don't need to. When you are building something and you are solving a problem, if you are solving a problem well enough and your customer are so passionate about it, you make profit from it. So at the end of the day, for any business, is the profit. But speaking to myself, let me say, limiting it to my role as an engineer, I will say that is the feedback beyond the value now for the business, because even though as an engineer, at the end of the tunnel, at the end of it, what the business want me to do is to be something that can bring value at the end of the day, which is the profit. So that precedes everything. So, but limiting it to, let me say, okay, as an engineer, I would say is the feedback. You getting to get an email or a chat from your customer saying, oh, they're happy with this progress, they're happy with this, they're happy with this value, they're happy with this, they're happy with this, or somehow you see someone using your product and you are there standing in front of the person using the product that you built, and they are saying that, oh, we use Swerve or we use VGPay, and you are there, you are just smiling. This is part of my struggle. Those are the moments that I'll say that are rewarding. So basically, it's a profit, because if you are solving the problem well enough and you're passionate about it, your customer are happy with it, definitely they'll pay for it. So it's a profit. Then, I mean, it's the feedback loop, the positive feedback, and even though it's negative, I mean, it shows that people really want to use your product and they are just not happy with some aspect of it, and they want you to know, genuinely want you to know, so that you can solve the problem. So that loop of solving problem and getting feedback, solving problem, getting feedback is, as an engineer, I would say, is also quite rewarding. And that's it for me. I receive any feedback from user that make my work feel meaningful. Yes. In fact, one of them came from my GM. I think the customer sent it to my GM, and the GM forwarded it to us in the group. And that led to another business conversation. Yeah, so those are like, very proud moment for me as an engineer, and even though to the whole team, to say that, wow, we are making progress. And also there is always a proper feedback loop within the organization too, where the leaders of the organization also give feedback. So these are the momentum, these are the rewards, these are the values, these are the so it's and the growth in numbers too, the growth in numbers, that's another feedback. So the growth in number, you are making XYZ, you are going to XYZ, and the business leaders are saying that, oh, so products make this money, so product, even though you are moving from 1 kobo to 10 kobo, it's a growth. It shows that yes, you are moving. I mean, indeed, life is a move on school. The major thing is you are moving. Life is a move on school itself, so you are moving. So that's another feedback for me, because as you grow in the engineering role or in your role, at some point you realize that you start to listen to numbers, and that give you that sense of purpose sometimes. It's not that you are in love with money, but it shows that what you are building is being used, and people are so in love with it, or they are so passionate with it, that they are willing to pay for what you are building. So that it's from like a psychological growth mindset, and those feedbacks helps a lot, and make me feel so good, feel really good as an engineer to say okay. And it makes you even feel better when you realize that that project or that product starts from just idea stage. Then you're able to work with your teams or guys, you're able to grow, build it, then it becomes a product that is being used and being paid for. User feedbacks, just give me, that joy to work more. It's an influence anyway, whether it's a positive or negative feedback. It propels me to work further, and also helps to guide the experience of the customer. Then also looking for a way to improve the system. So it's influence to work more, better, and smarter, and it also helps you to understand the importance of your product and the impact your product could have, on your customers, or your customers' customers. Yeah. One feature is or things that I would love to see, whether I'm still on the team or not, for Swerve, is having the ability to pay into more African corridors. Like, let me say 80 to 90% of African corridors. As you know, a lot of Africans are moving into foreign countries. A lot of Africans are in diaspora, and they want to send money to their family members in local currency. So one thing for me is ability for the product to cover more corridors in Africa, like 80 to 90%. Beyond that, having agents across these African corridors that can deliver to individuals that are not banked in that local country, and they don't have access to mobile wallets or mobile money. There are some people in villages where they have to walk many miles to get to a bank. They are old, some they are not physically able to do a lot of movement. And even though when the money gets to their bank account, they have to struggle to go and withdraw that money. So some of the features I'm looking forward to is covering a lot of African banks across different African continent 80 to 90%. Then we having local agents that can help us deliver money to those remote areas. Yeah, it's a thing I'm really looking forward to, and we're already doing that. We're already doing. There's a work in progress, and I hope that we're able to achieve that as soon as possible. Team culture is there's high. I think it's a good percentage, a high level of vulnerability and trust, and there's good level of communication. But I mean, we're all human beings. We are not from the same family, not from the same background, not from the same experience. So definitely there will be disparity in some, work ethics. There will be, different different behaviors, different way of life, different way of thinking, which might not sit well with the other person. Is normal. I mean, a workplace is also not a family WhatsApp group where you are demanding for someone to work exactly. So I think that's the essence of that vulnerability and trust, and communication. We see people trying to adapt into this person's culture just to ensure that that person too feels comfortable and fits in into the workplace. So, I mean, um, uh, vulnerability and trust is one thing for me, and communication is another thing for me. I think those are two major highlights for me when it comes to culture within the business. Yeah. Uh, the, you know, for us, our physical meeting is almost quarterly. That means 4 times in a year. It's compulsory that yes, you must be around to be with your team. Those period, they're always memory moments. A lot of them, people sharing their stories, sharing what has happened to them in the past 3 months before your previous um, before the previous um, um, team bonding. Getting to year G's. Laughing at one another, making jokes, playing games. So, like quarterly, there's always a memorable moment for for us within the team. Um, which one of them? There's just a lot of. I think I'll just say maybe the last team boarding. We went to a cinema. You know, everybody, watching movies together. I think we watch about two movies. Everybody there watching movies, eating popcorn. And because I'm not really a movie person, I would say that was my first time of going to a cinema to watch a movie. That was my first time, and I think that's one's kind of memory for me because I mean it's a live experience for me personally. It'd be my first time to go into a cinema to watch a movie, and I remember that I told one of my colleagues, I said, I think I'll start doing this often with my family. I'm not really a movie person. My wife also not really a movie person. So, but I mean, maybe once in a while, we just hang out in cinemas just to watch movie. So it was a kind of memorable experience for me. Everybody that were working together to deliver a product, we're now sitting down together to watch a movie. You see the contrast somehow. But I mean, it all boils down to things that make you feel better, then you can become productive. I mean, so it was a cool one for me, and I will appreciate the HR once again for ensuring the regular and quarterly team bonding, and always making it special for us. So every team bonding is always special, very very special. So I mean, every team bonding is always memorable, but I'll just say the last one was quite memorable in the sense that everybody's everybody's heading to a cinema to watch a movie together. Then the next day, I think the next day was yeah, I think the next day was Saturday, maybe Monday. Then we are jumping into a meeting together to ensure that social thing is delivered. So, I mean, it's a quite an experience for me. So, um, for me, to stay motivated and inspired because I love to believe in my truth. My truth might not be the same with your own truth. So for me, my truth about Swerve is that there's one ultimate beneficiary somewhere that needs that money, and it's critical that they get it. So my work revolves around ensuring that that person get that value at that ultimate time. That's one. Another thing is I want to bring in the value into the organization and ensure that yeah, whatever my contributions are in long run going to be profitable to the business. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'll be expecting my salary to be paid. I'll be expecting bonuses. I'll be expecting, some goodies also, from the organization. So my first thing is to ensure that yes, the product is up and running, and that's ultimate beneficial, I guess, the value. Because if you are being in a situation where you are in a tight corner and you're expecting money from someone in the diaspora to help you solve it, then you realize that wow, so this thing I'm building, that's there's someone somewhere that needs that money right that moment. So you want to ensure that whatever you are building give that capacity for that person, the ultimate beneficiary, to get that value. So that's my truth. And another thing is to ensure that yes, when it comes to number growth, the organization is also growing. And personally, as an individual, I'm also growing in terms of my experience, my exposures, technically, financially. I'm also growing. So those three truths or those three items, you know, gets me up and running. Um, as a solution architect on Solve as a product and in VGP ecosystem. Thank you. I've learned a lot from products. I've improved when it comes to my technical skills. I've improved when it comes to my understanding of where and what is running my code in terms of infrastructure. Uh, I've also improved when it comes to my customer relationship. Before, when you are just writing code, you might not have any business to do with customer. But now, I think I'm even part of every group chat that every customer is. So it's like if they're having problem, I'm also seeing it, even though I'm not really the one attending to the problem. So I've really improved. Um, and even beyond just around the work, even myself, individually, I've improved. I've really, really improved. Yeah, my my role has actually evolved over time. Beyond just writing the code, I've had to improve a lot, building resilient system. You know, as I'm building, I'm also thinking about meeting up with compliance requirements. At the same time, being customer focused, understanding the pain of the customer. At the same time, understanding the infrastructures that is going to build or that is going to run whatever I'm developing. So over time, I've learned a lot, you know, unlearned so many things, move into being more customer focused, and also understanding the numbers around what I'm building is very, very important when it gets to that scenario. You want to understand the numbers that you are bringing in. You want to understand the numbers that you are losing. Sometimes that give you that hedge, or hedge to understand what's going on. And at the same time, you also want to understand your customer. Before now, I just have to write my code. Having to step into that role, I have to be part of, some of the customer success strategy in a way, and having to be in different group chats with different customers as soon as they are dropping their problems, even though I'm not the one attending to it. There's a department for that. But I'm seeing this problem straight up. They don't have to send an email to inform about the problem. I'm seeing the problem first, and even though they have a process around resolving the problem, you know. So over time, I've really improved. I've really, really improved.